Have you ever had something you genuinely wanted to do? Not a chore, not something someone asked of you, just something that was yours. And then you found yourself doing absolutely everything else instead. Opening the document for a project you've been dreaming about, then closing it again. Checking your phone, making another drink, tidying a drawer that didn't need tidying. Suddenly very interested in organizing your emails, starting something smaller, easier, less important, and the thing you actually wanted to do, still sitting there, waiting exactly where you left it. If that sounds familiar, you're not lazy, and you're definitely not alone. This happens to a lot of people, and it tends to happen most with the things that matter most. Most of us assume procrastination is about avoiding things we don't want to do. That makes sense. Nobody wants to do their taxes or reply to that email they've been putting off for 2 weeks. But this is different. This is procrastinating on things you actually want, a project you're excited about, something you've thought about for months, something you told yourself this would be the year you finally started. And the reason it keeps not happening is more interesting and more forgiving than you might think. Here's what's really going on. Right now, before you've started, the thing you want to do is perfect. It exists entirely in your imagination, and in your imagination, it can be exactly what you hoped it would be. The best version of itself, exactly as good as you pictured. The moment you start, that changes. Now it's real. Now it can be measured. Now the gap between what you imagined and what you're actually producing becomes visible. And that gap can be uncomfortable. Not starting keeps it hidden. The idea stays exactly what it was, full of potential, impossible to get wrong. A blank page can't disappoint you. An open one can. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it self-handicapping. It sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple. When something matters to us, we unconsciously create distance from it, so that if things go wrong, we have an explanation ready. If you never fully try, you never fully find out. The project you didn't finish isn't a failure, it's just unfinished. And unfinished feels safer than done. Because once something is finished, it carries a verdict. And verdicts feel permanent in a way that still working on it never does. So the brain quietly keeps things unfinished again and again. Not out of laziness, out of protection. There's a real difference between those two things, and most people never stop to realize which one is actually running the show. There's another layer to this that a lot of people will recognize. The things we procrastinate on most are usually the ones most connected to how we see ourselves. Not just something we'd like to accomplish, something that says something about who we are. A creative project, a business idea, a difficult conversation, something you've wanted to do for so long, it feels like part of your identity. These don't feel like tasks, they feel like tests, and tests can be failed. So when you sit down to start and suddenly feel the urge to check your phone, make a coffee, do literally anything else, what looks like distraction from the outside is actually your mind trying to protect you from finding out. The reasons it finds feel completely reasonable. Not the right time, need to think it through a bit more, need to feel more ready, need the right conditions, need a clear day, a quiet week, a better headspace. And the mind is very good at making those feel true, good enough to last another week, and the week after that, and somehow the right conditions never quite arrive. What makes this so hard to catch is that the waiting genuinely feels like preparation. You're still thinking about it, still planning, still refining the idea, still getting ready. It feels like something is happening. But there's a difference between thinking about something and actually doing it. One keeps you safe, one requires you to show up and be seen. And the longer the thinking continues without the doing, the more comfortable the not doing becomes. Until one day, the thing you wanted quietly becomes the thing you used to want to do. And you're not even sure exactly when that happened, or how many weeks slipped by while you were getting ready. Here's the part I find quietly reassuring about all of this, and I think you might too. The more resistance you feel toward something, the more it probably matters to you. Small tasks don't generate elaborate reasons to avoid them. You just do them. The things that produce the most excuses, the most convincing reasons to wait, the most creative ways of being busy with something else, those are almost always the ones connected to something real, something that counts, something the brain has already decided is worth protecting. The resistance isn't a sign something is wrong. It's often a sign something matters. The brain doesn't guard things it doesn't care about. Only the ones that matter get this kind of protection. And if something has been waiting on your desk for 3 months, generating a new reason every week why today isn't quite the right day, that's not a sign it isn't worth doing. That's a sign a part of you already knows that it is. If this video hit home for you, then please subscribe to our channel